Yamaha Motor Canada has launched a plethora of new motorcycles over the past 2 or 3 years. Sometimes I can hardly keep track of the FZ, XS, SC, SR designations. So thank goodness for Yamaha's wonderful new 900cc liquid-cooled inline triple-cylinder fuel-injected engine. That I can remember. It's an intoxicating piece, and thankfully it can be found at the heart of the all-new XSR900. Yamaha calls this bike a part sport, part heritage motorcycle. Now the sport part I get, the heritage not so much. When you consider the engine's cross-plane crankshaft and fly-by-wire throttle control, the aluminum frame and 10-spoke cast aluminum wheels, not to mention the adjustable suspension bits front and rear, and the radial-mounted brakes with ABS. Nothing heritage about that. Maybe it's the step saddle, single headlight, and cutaway gas tank. I mean, those pieces certainly do evoke a certain 70s retro flavor, especially in the online brochure shots. But how does the XSR900 work out on the open road? Well, let's check in with this week's guest road tester, Aliki Carrion.
So Aliki, I'm going to give you my first impression of this motorcycle. 900 cc's, 3 cylinders, fun. Your first impression?
My first impression was actually, it was more of an aesthetic thing.
Oh,
I
yeah?
looked at it and I said, you know, this has a really good retro sort of look to it.
Yeah.
And then it completely surprised me with the amount of power, the size of the engine, how light, nimble, and amazing the engine performs.
Yeah, you know, this sort of brushed aluminum-esque tank, the retro saddle. Interesting approach, eh?
I'm all about it.
Yeah, very nice.
I particularly like the, right here, the bracket for the headlight, the bracket back here, some of these little details like the rear fender. This is all, it all looks like they're machined parts.
Yep.
And it really fits really well into the styling of the retro look. And that over here, if you look at the gas cap and the instrument panel, they're a little bit offset, so that offset styling kind of balances the bike a little bit. It makes it look really unique.
So you showed up this morning. That was your first impression when you saw the motorcycle. We fired it up. Tell us about the engine.
Well, my experience with it after looking at it and throwing my leg over, it felt really light. As I scooted through the parking lot, just getting used to the motorcycle, it was a very well balanced motorcycle.
Yeah.
As I went out of the parking lot and did a little bit of this, a whole bunch of swear words came out of my mouth.
But good
This
swear
is
words.
amazing swear words.
Yeah, yeah.
This engine is truly amazing. I am not lying when I say that. The triple is a fantastic engine. I'm used to riding a lot of inline fours.
Yep.
It accelerates very smoothly like an inline four, but there is torque everywhere.
Yeah.
So even if you short shift the motorcycle and you get on the gas, there's torque there. If you wait up until you hit the rev limiter just before that, get on the gas, there's torque there. It's everywhere, and it's pretty surprising, and I really like it.
It's got some pretty honking brakes. Did you like the way it stopped?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Good
mean,
feel?
it rides like a sport bike and it brakes like a sport bike,
Right.
which is unlike a motorcycle that has a retro look. So I'm very impressed with that. It does have ABS as well. The front suspension and rear is adjustable, and so it allows for you to be able to ride the motorcycle aggressively, brake with the motorcycle aggressively. The front end doesn't dive or anything like that.
Right. How is it for you for the riding position?
I'm very comfortable on this motorcycle. I have to say that I'm pretty short, so I'm super tiptoeing it on this bike.
Yeah.
My knees don't necessarily reach the tank. I would imagine that somebody who's about 6 feet tall probably fits this motorcycle a little bit better than I. But in terms of riding it around, it's extremely comfortable.
Yeah. Well, I am 6 feet tall.
Okay.
And it does fit me.
All right.
I like the distance from the saddle to the pegs.
Okay.
A lot of room for me, and the bars, just, you know, you sort of sit just nice and comfortable. And wide bars. Did you find that? The leverage was nice?
Absolutely.
Let's talk about the instruments. There's a pretty funky pod up here, digital gauge. How did you like that?
I think everything is nice and visible. It's in your face. It's easy to read. It's easy to understand. I kind of jumped into this demo ride fairly quickly, getting on the motorcycle and going, and I was able to figure it out quite quickly.
Yeah.
There's a couple of cool buttons up here. We do have there's a throttle mode.
Yeah.
Push by this button right here, it'll tell you which mode you're in. There's an A mode, there's a B mode, there's a standard mode. I call A mode the insanity mode, and and I'm not even kidding, it is. It's insanity. I had my traction control set up too high.
Right.
B mode is the more sanity mode. I imagine the reason why B mode is there is for wet roads and that sort of thing, but
Yeah.
I would have to say, I mean, I think this motorcycle would still be on one wheel in B mode, so.
Anything disappoint you? Anything Yamaha needs to fix?
You know, I think the only thing, and I'm being really picky here, is the signal lights. Yamaha has come out with some really sexy looking signal lights on some of their other motorcycles.
Right.
And LEDs, and I find these ones just a little bit floppy as you're moving around, and it doesn't really add to the beautiful look of this bike.
Right. What's the one thing that's going to be a lasting impression? What did you really like? What stood out? What do you really like about the bike?
My lasting impression, what I'd say to everybody is I think Yamaha did a fantastic job meshing two different types of motorcycles together, a retro style motorcycle and a sport-based motorcycle, something that can really, really perform.
Hybrid. It's
Pretty
a
much,
hybrid.
yeah, I guess so.
Hybrid that looks like it was hammered out in somebody's
deceiving,
garage.
absolutely.
Well, I'll take that. That's great. Well, thanks so much for helping us out today.
Thanks a lot, I appreciate it.
Glad you had fun.
Oh, I did.